Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, so today we will learn Chapter 1 Variation, Form 5. Okay, slide ini adalah ihsan daripada Teacher Azlina from Susuri. Thank you so much. So, what do you expect to learn in this topic? First, you will identify quantities that are related to each other. Second, you will determine the relation between two quantities. Next, you will find the equation of the variation and its constant of variation. And the last one, you will use proportion to solve the direct, inverse, joint, and combined variation. Okay, so in real life, there are several relationships of quantities are related to each other in some way. You will learn how a change in one quantity could correspond to a predictable change in the other. Atau dalam kata lain, sesuatu benda berubah apabila sesuatu benda yang lain berubah. Okay, look at the first example. The situation is the area of the wall to the amount of paint used to cover it. Okay, situasi dia adalah luas sesebuah dinding versus jumlah cat yang digunakan untuk mengecat dinding itulah. Okay, so the first quantity kita ada area of the wall ni. Okay, second is kita ada amount of paint used. Okay, jadi dia punya relation adalah, kalau secara logiknya, bila dinding tu luas, cat yang digunakan tu mesti lagi banyak kan? So, when the area of the wall increase, the amount of paint used also will increase. Okay, let's see. Look at this, quantity 1, area of wall increase, amount of paint used also increase. Okay, so the next one, the time a teacher spends checking papers to the number of students. Masa yang digunakan oleh guru untuk tanda kertas pelajar. Okay, kalau secara logiknya, okay, before that, the quantity is, the first one is time a teacher spends checking paper. Second is number of student. So, secara logiknya, masa untuk seorang guru nak tanda kertas tu, okay, so, secara logiknya, okay, when the number of students increase, the time a teacher spends checking papers also increase. Okay, let's say dalam satu kelas ada 30 orang. Okay, so 30 paper teacher tu kena maki. Let's say 30 paper tu ambil masa 2 jam. Okay, lepas tu untuk kelas yang satu lagi ada 40 orang student. Okay, agak-agak masa untuk cikgu kelas tu tanda lagi lama atau lagi sekejap daripada kelas yang 30 orang tadi? Of course lah, masa untuk check yang lagi student yang lagi lama kan? Okay, so logically, if the number of students increase, the time a teacher spends checking papers also will increase. Okay, let's see. When the number of students increase, time of checking also increase. Okay, next situation. Okay, the number of men working to the number of hours to finish a job. Okay, so this one, if the number of men working increase, number of hours to finish a job will decrease. Makin ramai orang kerja, makin cepatlah kerja siap. Okay. Okay, next, the distance a car drives to the time travelling. Okay, for this one, kalau perjalanan lagi jauh, lagi lama lah masa. Okay, so if the distance increase, the time also increase. Okay, next, the age of a used car to its resale value. Okay, umur sesebuah kereta dengan dia punya nilai nak jual balik tu. Okay, so kalau makin lama kereta tu dah diguna, mestilah dia punya nilai makin menurun. So, age of a used car increase, resale value will decrease. Okay. Next. Okay, so there are two types of variation here, which is direct variation and inverse variation. Okay, let's see what is the definition of direct variation and what is the definition of inverse variation. Direct variation explains the relation between two variables vary in the same direction, such that if one increases, the other also increases. If one decreases, the other also decreases. Ini maksudnya sama. Kalau satu kuantiti meningkat, kuantiti yang satu lagi pun meningkat. Kalau satu kuantiti menurun ataupun berkurang, kuantiti yang satu lagi pun berkurang juga. Yang tu kita panggil direct variation. Okay, the second one is inverse variation. Inverse variation explains the relation between two variables vary in the different direction. Kalau tadi same direction, this one is different variation. Such that if one increases, okay, let's say kalau kuantiti pertama bertambah, kuantiti kedua akan berkurang, dia terbalik. Ataupun if kuantiti pertama berkurang, kuantiti kedua bertambah. Dia terbalik dengan direct variation tadi. That's why nama dia inverse variation. Okay, example 1. Let's identify the following situation as direct variation or inverse variation. Okay. A. The number of people sharing a pizza related to the size of the slices of the pizza. Okay, bilangan orang. Okay, ini quantity, the first quantity, number of people sharing a pizza. This is the first quantity. Second one is size of the slices of the pizza. Okay, makin ramai orang, let's say kalau orang makin ramai, saiz setiap keratan pizza tu makin besar ke makin kecil? Of course makin kecil. Okay, so the answer will be inverse variation. Next, the diameter of a circle is related to its circumference. Okay, untuk circle, okay, ini diameter, so ini adalah dia punya circumference. Okay, kalau diameter bertambah, circumference juga bertambah. So, the answer is direct variation. Next one, the cost of life insurance depends on the age of the insured person. Okay, insurans nyawa. Cost untuk insurans nyawa, kalau makin bertambah umur kita ataupun makin tua, kos untuk insurans nyawa pun makin bertambah juga. Sebab risiko untuk orang tua lagi tinggi kan. Okay, so this one is direct variation juga. The next one, the speed of a car will affect the time taken. Okay, kelajuan kereta mempengaruhi masa. Okay, lagi laju, kalau bawa kereta lagi laju, kita akan lagi cepat sampai kan. Maksud lagi cepat sampai tu, masa yang kita ambil adalah makin berkurang. So this one is inverse variation. Okay, next. Table 1 shows the points earned by Form 5 classes for every number of kilograms of waste paper collected. Okay, yang ni bilangan kilo yang dia kutip sampah tu, yang ni markah yang dia orang dapat. Okay, for table 2 shows the speed and the length of time taken by Lina's car in 40 km from house to her office. Okay, yang ni Lina nak pergi office dari rumah dia. Okay, ini masanya. Bila speed dia banyak ni, masa dia selama ni. Bila speed dia bertambah, masa dia macam ni. Okay, so what have you observed about the values in both tables? Okay, for table 1, okay, kita boleh nampak di sini. You can see it here. If the number of kilogram increase, nampak ni, dia bertambah 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then the points earned will be increased. Makin banyak dia kutip sampah, makin banyak dia dapat markah. Table 2, okay, when the speed increase, okay, makin laju Lina bawa kereta, the time taken decrease. makin cepat Lina sampai ataupun makin sikit masa yang diguna untuk sampai ke office dia. Next, which table represent direct variation and inverse variation? Okay, of course, table 1 is direct variation sebab bertambah dan bertambah. Second, table 2 is inverse variation. Okay, what happens to the number of points earned when the number of kilograms of paper is doubled, tripled or decreased by half? Okay, number of kilograms of paper is doubled. Okay, dia macam ni. Kalau yang ni, bila yang ni bertambah, yang ni pun bertambah kan? Okay, so if number of kilogram double, number of points also will double. Let's say yang ni daripada 1 ke 2. Masa dia daripada 5 ke 10. 1 darab 2 jadi 2, 5 darab 2, 10. So, bila number of kilogram double, points and also double. Sama juga number of kilogram triple, points and also triple because it is a direct variation. Okay, the third one, if number of kilograms of paper is decreased by half, so number of points also will decrease by half because it is a direct variation. Okay, next, what happens to the length of time when the speed of Lina's car is doubled, increased 25% or decreased by 1/3? Okay, so for this one, when the speed increase, the time will decrease. Okay, because this one is inverse variation. Okay, when the speed is doubled, so the time will half. Speed dia 2 kali ganda, masa pun 2 kali ganda juga. 2 kali ganda berkurang. So, dengan kata lain, dia jadi separuh. Okay, so next, bila speed increase 25%, so time will decrease 25% because it is an inverse variation. Dia terbalik. Next, when the speed is decreased by 1/3, so the time will increase by 1/3. Makin slow. Bila dia slow, masa pun makin bertambah. Next. Okay, so in example 2, you notice that all the quantity values change at a constant rate, kan? Okay, so for a direct variation, okay, ni kita panggil y varies directly as x. Okay, so we can write it dalam variation relation. Okay, ini macam mana ni cara tulis dia. Okay, this one is the symbol. Ni kita panggil varies directly, kan? Okay, and dalam equation form kita boleh tulis sebagai y equals to kx. Okay, what is k? K is a constant where each pair of numbers has the same ratio. Okay, ratio dia semua sama, baru dia jadi direct variation. Okay, therefore, okay, k tu apa? K equals to y over x. K ni kita derive daripada this formula. Y equals to kx. So, if nak dapatkan nilai k, k equals to x datang sini, y over x. Okay. So, for inverse variation pula, sebaliknya, kalau tadi y varies directly, for inverse variation, kita panggil y varies inversely. Okay, inversely as x can be written as, kalau tadi y varies directly macam ni, kalau varies inversely, kita jadi y varies inversely 1 over x. Ataupun y varies directly with 1 over x. Ni kita panggil inversely lah ni kalau macam ni. Okay. Yang ni dalam variation relation. Okay, kalau dalam equation form pula, y equals to k over x. Kalau tadi y equals to kx. Dia terbalik sebab nama dia inverse. Okay. Where k is a constant where each pair of numbers has the same product. Okay, kalau tadi each pair of numbers has the same ratio. Kalau yang ni, each pair of numbers has the same product. Therefore, the constant formula untuk k, untuk inverse variation is k equals to xy. Kalau tadi, direct variation, k equals to y over x. Okay, next. Determine whether y varies directly as x or y varies inversely as x. Nak tahu dia direct ke inverse? Okay, then write an equation that relates x and y. Okay, let's see. Okay, so kat sini dia bagi ni formula. Nak suruh senang buat soalan ni. Okay, so kita nak tahu dia varies directly ke varies inversely. First of all, kita buat y over x dulu. Dapat y over x, kita tengok nilai dia. Okay, this one kita nak cari k lah ni. K equals to y over x. This one is untuk kita check dia varies directly ke tak. Okay, so kita tengok dia punya jawapan dia. Okay, kita tengok dulu next. Kalau yang ni cari k untuk direct variation. The next one, this one is kita cari k untuk inverse variation. Okay, when we look at the values, kita boleh nampak nilai k mana yang sama. Okay, nilai k yang sama tu lah dia punya variation dia. So this one, k untuk inverse variation yang sama, formula inverse variation. So this one is inverse variation. So y varies inversely as x. And okay, and kita tahu k is equals to negative 24. So this is the equation yang kita dapat. Because originally y equals to k over x. So kita substitute nilai k is negative 24 over x. So this is the equation. Okay, for b. Okay, let's check it out. Okay, y over x dapat tak sama. Okay, and xy pun dapat tak sama. Let's say x darab y. 1 times 2 dapat 2. 2 times 4 dapat 8. 3 times 8 dapat 24. Pun tak dapat. Untuk direct variation pun tidak. Untuk inverse variation pun also tidak. So, this is not a variation. Okay, next. For C. Okay, C. Jom kita check. Okay. So, this is the formula, the K formula for direct variation. So, bila nilai K semua sama, so this one is direct variation. Kita boleh kata dia adalah direct variation. Okay, so the equation is, bila kita dah dapat K is negative 5. So, formula Y adalah Y equals to KX. Okay, so K kita dapat negative 5. So, negative 5x. Okay, next. For D. For D, kita check. Kita guna formula K untuk inverse variation dan kita dapat nilai yang sama. Okay, so it is proven that this one is inverse variation. Y varies inversely as x. So, the equation is Y equals to 60 over x. Okay, so this one. Determine whether the following equation is direct variation, inverse variation or neither. Okay, so this one kita tengok. Okay, from this equation kita dapat y equals to 3 over x. Okay, so this one kita tengok. Ini adalah formula dia. So this one is inverse variation. Okay, kalau this one tak ada ni x plus 7, no plus plus. So, not a variation. Kalau this one, from the equation kita dapat y equals to 4x. Okay, so sama dengan formula ni. So this one is direct variation. And for this one, y equals to 2x over 10. So we get y equals to x over 5. Okay, so x kat atas kan, bukan kat bawah. Okay, so this one is direct variation. Okay, next. Determine whether y varies directly as x squared or y varies directly as x cubed. Then write the relation in the form of variation. Okay, let's see. Kat sini, we only have x, right? Lepas tu dia nak tanya varies directly as x squared or x cubed. So, kita kena wujudkan sendiri x squared and x cubed tu. Okay. So, for this one, y over x squared. Y ni 8, okay, over x square. X is 2, so 2 square. 8 divided by 2 square, which is 4, kita dapat 2. And yang lain pun sama, 18 bahagi dengan 3 square. Lepas tu kita dapat, kita check kita dapat apa. So, this is the K for y over x square. And this is the K for y over x cube. So, kita tengok, which K yang bagi nilai yang constant. Okay, nilai yang sama. Okay, so kita dapat yang ni kan. So, jawapan dia is y varies directly as x square. Okay. Next, determine whether the following graph represent direct variation. If so, state the constant of variation and write the equation. Okay. The graph of y against x is a straight line that passes through the origin. So, this one is direct variation. Mula kita tengok. Okay, this is y against x. Lepas tu, dia adalah straight line dan passes the origin. So, dia jadi direct variation. So, kita tahu bila direct variation, constant dia which is k, formula dia is y over x. Okay, so macam mana kita nak buat dia punya equation? Okay, kita cari nilai k dia dulu. Nak cari nilai k, kita cari titik yang betul-betul kena dengan garisan. Okay, kalau untuk yang ni, dia pilih yang ni. Sebab betul-betul kena. Choose point 4, 3. So, dia guna yang ni. Okay, so k is 3 over 4. Y over x kan? 3 over 4. Next. So, the equation is y equals to 3 over 4x. Sebabnya, formula untuk direct variation is y equals to kx. So, k is 3 over 4. 3 over 4x lah jadinya. Okay. The next one, determine whether the following graph represent direct variation. Okay. Syarat direct variation, mula-mula kita tengok. Okay, ni y against x. Okay. Tapi, dia tak passes through origin. So, this is not a direct variation. Okay. Next. Determine whether the following graph represent direct variation. If so, state the constant of variation and write the equation. Okay, macam tadi kita tengok. Okay, this is the graph y against x square. Okay, lepas tu dia passes through origin. So, this is the direct variation. And y varies directly as x square. Dia tersilap kat sini. Y varies directly as x square. Okay, so macam mana kita nak dapatkan kita punya equation? So, macam tadi, direct variation, k equals to y over x. Okay, so kita cari point yang kena. Okay, banyak point yang kena. Tapi untuk yang ni, kita pilih this one, 25 and 50. So, dia punya k is 50 over 25. 50 over 25 ni sama juga dengan 2. Okay, so equation dia y equals to kx. Okay, so k is 2. So this equation will be y equals to 2x. Next, okay, the following graph represent the inverse variation. State the constant of variation and write the equation. Okay, dia kata dah yang ni memang inverse variation. So, graph untuk inverse variation dia adalah hyperbola. Macam ni lah hyperbola. Kalau direct variation kita akan dapat straight line. Okay, so y varies inversely as x. Okay, so the constant is k equals to xy. So, kita cari point yang kena. Okay, dia pilih yang ni. Okay, so kita nak dapat k 4 times 1. Okay, so the k is 4. So, from formula equation form untuk inverse variation, y equals to k over x. So, k kita dapat 4. So, y equals to 4 over x. Okay, the next one. The following graph represent the inverse variation. Okay, so macam mana pula yang ni boleh jadi inverse variation sedangkan dia adalah straight line? Okay, kena tengok dulu. Kita tengok graph dia is y against 1 over x. Okay, tengok kat sini. Y, kalau macam ni, varies inversely to x, which is y varies directly to 1 over x. Okay, dia macam ni. Y varies directly to, y varies inversely to x ni, dia sama dengan y varies directly to 1 over x. Okay, so kita akan dapat straight line yang passes through origin. Okay, so y varies inversely as x. So, kalau inverse variation, k equals to xy. So, dia pilih point yang kena. This one dia pilih 0.5 and 8. Lepas tu, macam biasa, kira x dia, kira k dia. K dia is 1 over 0.5 times 8. Okay, because this is the X. Okay, so dia dapat K dia is 16. So the equation is Y equals to 16 over X. The graph of Y against 1 over X is a straight line that passes through the origin. Okay, next, the following graph represent the inverse variation. State the constant of variation and write the equation. Okay, Y varies inversely as X square. So the constant is K equals to X square Y. So dipilih point mana? Point yang paling kena. Okay, and then K equals to 1 over 0.25 times 45. Okay, so K dia is 180. So the equation will be Y equals to 180 over X squared. Next, it is given that M varies directly as the cube root of N. Okay, yang ni kena baca ayat dia. Dia kata M varies directly. So kita tulis terus. M, okay, varies kena macam ni kan. Directly. Bila directly tu maksudnya tak adalah 1 over apa-apa. Okay, M varies directly as the cube root of N. So cube root macam ni. Okay, so kita dapat macam ni lah. Ini in terms of relation. Kalau in terms of equation, kita akan ada K. Okay, let's see. Yang dibagi dalam relation, lepas tu dalam equation. Okay, next. Kita dah ada equation tu. Lepas tu dia kata calculate the value of M when N equals to 27. Okay, kalau nak buat soalan B ni, kita kena cari dulu the value of K. Okay, nak dapat value of K from this equation, kita dapatkan K. So, N, cube root of N bawa ke sini, jadi divide. Lepas tu dia dah bagi tadi. M is 0.8, N is 0.125. So, substitute masuk. Then, kita akan dapat K is 1.6. Okay, so, bila kita dah ada K, bolehlah kita cari nilai M when N is 27. Kita pakai formula tadi. So, this is the original formula. Okay, dan K kita adalah 1.6. Masukkan. So, kita dah ada N equals to 27. Masuk ke sini. Kita dapatlah M dia. So, next. Sama juga nak dapatkan N. Masukkan M 1.2. Lepas tu, dapatlah N. Berapa? Okay, simple algebra. Oh, dah dapat nilai N. Okay, next. The table shows the value of two variables, R and S. It is given that S varies directly as R. Okay, so dia cakap S varies directly as R. Ataupun S equals to KR. Okay, calculate the value of X and of Y. So, di sini, kita masukkan nilai dulu. Kita ambil yang ada nilai dulu. Sebab X dengan Y kat sini kan yang tak ada nilai. So, kita ambil yang ada nilai dulu. S is 2. Okay, K kita tak tahu. Kita kena cari K dulu. R is 4. Okay, so nak dapatkan nilai K, bawa 4 ke sana. Jadi bahagi. Okay, so K kita is 1 over 2. Okay, bila kita dah dapat K ni 1 over 2, kita boleh carilah nilai X ni. Okay, tulis balik equation dia. Okay, S. S ni adalah kita punya X. Okay, K kita dah tahu 1 over 2. 1 over 2 times R dia is 7. So, nilai X kita dapat 3.5. Okay, so untuk Y, S kita adalah 5 equals to K is 1 over 2 times Y. Okay, so 5 equals to 1 over 2Y. So, nak dapatkan Y, bawa 1 over 2 ke sana, jadi bahagi. So, 5 divided by 1 over 2. So, kita dapat Y equals to 10. So, ini jawapannya. Okay, next. The table shows the value of two variables, X and Y. It is given that Y varies inversely as X. Calculate the value of P and Q. Okay, kalau yang ni dia cakap Y. Okay, kalau yang ni dia kata Y varies inversely as X. Okay, so ataupun dia punya equation will be Y equals to K over X. Okay, so calculate the value of P and of Q. Okay, so macam tadi juga, ini equation yang kita ada. Kita ambil yang ni dulu, yang ada nilai dulu, the first item. So y is 16 equals to k kita tak tahu, x is 5. So nak dapatkan k, 16 times 5. So kita dapat k is 80. Okay, so bila kita dapat k is 80, kita boleh carilah yang ni. So untuk yang ni y is p. P equals to k is 80. 80 divided by x adalah 10. So P we got, P kita dapat 8. Untuk Q pula, Y dia kita dapat 4. K dia is 80 divided by Q. Okay, so dah dapatkan Q. Q pergi sana. 4 datang sini. Divided by 4. So Q we get 20. Okay, as simple as that. Next, the cost per person renting a bus varies inversely. Okay, the cost per person renting a bus varies inversely with the number of people renting the bus. Okay, so yang ni kita anggapkan cost adalah Y, number of people is X. So dia kata Y varies inversely as X. Okay, so it costs Rm 33 ringgit per person if 26 people rent the bus. Okay, sorry, kita buat dulu equation y equals to k over x. Okay, how much it will cost per person if 56 people rent the bus? Okay, so yang ni dia kata bila y sama dengan 33 ringgit, x adalah 26 people. Okay, so kita dah ada y, kita dah ada x, kita kena cari dia punya k dulu. Okay, so y equals to 33, k over x dia 26. So nak dapatkan k, 33 times 26. So k kita dapat 858. Okay, so dia punya k is 858. Okay, soalan dia how much will it cost? Okay, so dia tanya y. If 56 people rent the bus, so x dia dah bagi. So kita pakai formula yang sama, y kita tak tahu sebab dia tanya. Okay, k is 858 divided by x is 56. So kita dapat y dia is Rm 15 ringgit 32 cents. Okay. Next, table 1 shows the points earned. P is varies directly. Okay, dia kata dah P is varies directly as the number of kilograms and of waste paper collected. Calculate the number of paper in kg collected in order to raise 500 points. Okay, before that dia kata P varies directly kan. So kita tulis terus P varies directly ataupun dia punya equation P equals to Kn. Okay, so calculate the number of paper in order to raise 500 points. Okay, kita nak dapatkan N kan untuk nilai P ni. Before that kita kena cari dia punya K dulu. Nak dapatkan K, ambil dulu salah satu nilai. Okay, bila P 5, K tak tahu, N adalah 1. Okay, so the K is 5 divided by 1. So K equals to 5. Okay, so daripada soalan ni, kita nak P kan. Okay, dia nak number of paper. So means P kita ada dah 500. Okay, equals to K is 5. Dan number of paper kita tak tahu. Okay, so macam mana nak dapatkan N? 500 divided by 5. So N equals to 100. Okay. Next, the area LCM of a semicircle varies directly as the square of its diameter D. Okay, varies directly. So area varies directly as diameter ataupun dia punya equation will be L equals to KD. So it is given that the area of semicircle is 3.08 cm square when the diameter is 2.8 cm. So dia tanya calculate the value of D. Okay, dia tanya diameter yang ni kalau area dia yang ni. So equation dia kita dah ada tadi. Kita guna info yang kita ada dulu. So untuk yang ni bila area dia is 3.08, K dia tak tahu, D dia is 2.8. Okay, so kita nak dapatkan K dia 3.08 divided by 2.8. So K dia will be 3.08 divided by 2.8. We have K dia is 1.1. This is K, not X. Okay, K is 1.1. So, daripada equation ni, kita nak D kan? Okay, so L dia is, tulis balik formula. KD. Okay, L dia is 19.25 equals to K is 1.1 D. Times D kan? So, kita nak dapatkan D, 19.25 divided by 1.1. Okay, so diameter is 10.5 cm. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you. Bye-bye.